Alright my fellow agents, welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and one thing we've been talking about here at the channel since the start of Year 8 Season 2 is the fact that, a lot of players out there really aren't into the current season and you're just waiting for information in regard to the next incursion, which will be at one point this season. And having said that, one request I get here at the channel all the damn time is to highlight certain builds that in my opinion you want to have at the ready regardless of what you may be doing in the game, and even though we do not know the mechanics of the new incursion, there happen to be a handful of builds that I strongly recommend every player have in their loadout, and today we're going to highlight a few of them based around the Heartbreaker gear set. Alright, so with that being said, let's get into the build breakdown, starting with the specialization. You can see we're using Technician, and I'm doing that for two main reasons. First of all, this gives you access to the linked laser pointer, and when you equip that to any long-barreled weapon, you are automatically going to pulse every single enemy you target. And this is also going to give you access to the Artificer Hive, which is going to help increase your shield efficiency and duration. Now always remember, regardless of the specialization you choose, you need to make sure you have the proper weapons activated in your weapon skill tree. That way you're getting a 15% weapon damage bonus regardless of which one you're using. Now it's important to mention that in order to have access to the linked laser pointer, you need to have rifles activated in your weapon skill tree as well. So make sure you have rifles activated. After that, it's going to be your primary weapon, which is an assault rifle, and your secondary weapon, which is a shotgun. So as you can see, my primary weapon is the Lexington. This is at expertise level 7. I'm in the process of leveling this thing up. And this has the Talon Flatline, and that is going to amplify weapon damage by 15% to pulsed enemies. And after 4 kills, it applies pulse to the next enemy you hit. Now once again, remember, we are using the linked laser pointer on this weapon as well as on our secondary, which means every single enemy we target is automatically going to be pulsed, so we don't have to worry about that whole 4 kills thing. Now as far as my secondary is concerned, I'm using the Rock and Roll Shotgun. That is a PvP exclusive, but you can also get it from named caches. And in the meantime, if you don't have it, you could use a Stack Broker, you could use an ACS-12. That will totally get the job done. Now moving on to the gear itself, you can see we're running 2 unit alloys and 4 Heartbreaker, which is what we're starting with. Now we're running 4 so we get all of the gear set bonuses. 2 pieces 15% assault rifle and LMG damage, 3 pieces 15% weapon handling, and 4 pieces Heartstopper. Headshots apply pulse for 5 seconds, but once again remember, because of that linked laser pointer, we are pulsing every single enemy we target. Weapon hits on pulsed enemies adds a stack of 1% bonus armor and 1.1% weapon damage up to a max of 50. However, because we are wearing the Heartbreaker body armor, we have access to the Talent Max BPM. And as you can see, that is going to increase the max stacks of Heartstopper from 50 to 100. Next we have the holster, first of 2 pieces of unit alloys. Now you have a few options here. Now you can see I happen to be using a double crit unit alloys holster. However, if you want to use the salvo, try that, because that's going to give you an additional 5% rate of fire increase. And once again, remember, as I mentioned in every build breakdown, this is just a template. Take your time, make a build your own, try out different variations, and just stick with the one you like using. Alright, next we have the knee pads. That is the 3rd piece of Heartbreaker. Right after that we have the gloves, which is the 2nd piece of unit alloys. I'm going to show you another variation in a moment. Last but not least, my friends, we have the backpack. That is the 4th and final piece of the Heartbreaker gear set. And because we're wearing a Heartbreaker bag, we have access to the Talent Cold, and that is going to increase the bonus armor gain per stack of Heartstopper from 1% to 2%. Now another variation I'd like to highlight really quick is the one you're looking at on screen, and for the record, this is what I'm going to be using in the gameplay footage you will see at the end of the video. Now for this version of the build, I've done the following. I've switched the holster to a piece of Grupo. That is going to give us an extra 13% crit hit damage bonus. And I've switched the gloves to the Overdogs. These are just one of my favorite exotics to use in so many different builds. They have the Talent Weakest link, and that is going to amplify weapon damage by 30% to the lowest ranking enemy currently in combat, as per the tier hierarchy. Finally, my friends, it takes us to the last build I'm going to highlight in today's video, and we are using 3 Heartbreaker, 2 unit alloys, and the Ninja Bike backpack. Now most of you know exactly how this thing works, but if you don't, you can see it has the Talent Resourceful, slots in with any equipped gear set and or brand set item to fulfill a requirement towards unlocking a gear set's bonus. Now that simply means, even though we only have 3 pieces of the Heartbreaker gear set equipped, we do get that 4-piece bonus, which is exactly what we're targeting. And as we make our way down to the holster and the knee pads, they are the 2 pieces of unit alloys, but again, because of the Ninja Bike, we get that 3rd brand set bonus as well, which is that 50% magazine size, and with the Lexington, that's pretty damn great to have. As far as the skills are concerned, for every build I showed you, I'm using the Crusader Shield and the Artificer Hive. Last but not least, I want to mention in the gameplay footage you're about to see, I do not have any global modifiers active whatsoever, and the reason for that is I want to ensure that whenever you see this build, you know exactly what it can do without any special events going on. Hope this helped you out, my friends, and as always, questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know and I'll do my best to get back to you as quick as I can. On that note, I'm going to leave you with some gameplay footage and a few final thoughts. As always, I want to take a moment and thank you all for your incredible continued support. Please let me know of any other questions you have I did not address. Thank you once again for the privilege of your time, and as I mention at the end of every one of these, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone. Hello once again, my fellow agents. I hope you're doing well on this fine day. Alright, so let's talk about the Heartbreaker gear set and the fact that I'm using the Technician specialization because of that linked laser pointer. Now, to be very clear, if you are on point with your headshots, you do not need to use that specialization. I mean, the main reason I'm using it, like I said, is because having that laser pointer, the linked laser pointer equipped is going to mean that I automatically pulse every single enemy I target. I don't have to worry about the headshots. So for players out there who may have some aim, you know, you can use that thing and you'll really benefit from it. So anyway, that is just a recommendation. I want to make sure I mention that. Last but not least, as far as the Lexington is concerned, because I know a lot of players out there are still trying to get that weapon or multiple versions of it, we should be able to farm for it pretty damn soon during the summer event. I believe if we look at the timeline, it says something, you know, is coming on July 21st, I believe. That should be the event, and once I have the details, I will bring it to you right away. And yeah, I think that's all I got for this video. Again, you know, I wish the game was in a healthier state. I wish I was bringing you more videos instead of just build videos. But like I've said, you know, I mean, a lot of players out there, all you're doing is farming, trying to get builds together for when certain content drops that you actually want to play. And as you've heard me say time and time again, I will be here with you every step of the way. Yeah. All right. Need to go. Appreciate all of you so much. Take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and I will see you in the next one.
All clear. I repeat, the compound is... But I'm running.
Have turned the memorial into a base. It's an area beneath you with that should keep them from getting more of those mortars.
You think closing the tunnel is smart? Fuck you! You slot yourself in with us. I'll make sure you rot down here. From the campus has taken position inside the memorial. If you hadn't stopped them, I know they would have used those weapons on us, and we would have ended up like Castle.
I can't tell you how relieved I am to have you on our side. Thank you. Today, we dealt a great blow to the True Sun's infrastructure. We confiscated a massive cache of chemical weapons and eliminated a stronghold near the campus. You should be proud. You saved a lot of lives today.